السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Today, inshallah, our lesson is proportion. In our lesson today, inshallah, we will recognize the meaning of proportion and its properties, recognize the properties of proportion. Last session, we took the ratio, and we know also the proportion of ratio. And we know that the proportion is a conversion between two quantities, and how to find any number if we add the ratio, two terms of the ratio by two or three, consider the number and find the number. Our definition today, inshallah, it's a quality of two ratios or more. If we have A over B equals C over D, A over B is called ratio, equals C over D ratio, ratio and ratio. Equality of two ratios or more is called proportion. We say that A over B equals C over D. A over B is a ratio, and C over D is ratio. A over B equals C over D is proportion, equals E over F proportion, such that A is called the first proportion. A is called the first proportion, and B is called the second proportion, and C is called the third. D is called the fourth proportion. Again, definition: what's the meaning of proportion? Is equality of two ratios or more, such that if A over B equals C over D, then A is the first proportion, B is the second proportion, C is the third proportion, and D is the fourth proportion. And we can say that A, B, C, and D are in proportion. The four quantities A, B, C, and D are in proportion, and vice versa. If I say that A, B, C, and D are proportions, that means A over B equals C over D. If I say that A over B equals C over D, that means A, B, C, D are in proportion. Okay, don't forget that. Vice versa. A, B, C, D are in proportion, then we can say that A over B equals C over D. If A over B equals C over D, then A, B, C, D are in proportion. Such that B and C are called means, and AD, A and D, extremes, extremes, extremes. B and C means, and A and D are called extremes. Now we will take what of the properties of proportion. Number one, If A over B equals C over D, then the product A times D equals the product B times C. A times D equals B times C, and we studied it before in grade 6. The product of means equals the product of extremes. The product of means equals the product of extremes. Number 2, if A times D equals B times C, A times D equals B times C, as we said in the first one. Then A over B equals C over D. Again, A over B equals C over D. And also if I said A over C equals B over D. Number 3, if A over B equals C over D, then A over C equals B over D. A over C equals B over D. Number 4, if A over B equals C over D equals E over F, and so on. Ratio equals ratio equals ratio equals ratio. It's a proportion, as we said at the first. Proportion, equality of two ratios or more. Equality of two ratios or more. Equals M. Any ratio equals M. Then we can say that A equals BM. Consider M, its denominator equals 1. Then the product of means equals the product of extremes. Then A equals BM, and C equals DM, and E, yes, equals FM. FM. Consider the ratio equals M, constant number, constant number. A over B equals M, then A equals BM. Because this ratio, we can simplify it by dividing it by any number up and down. Then A over B equals M. Then A over B equals M, then A equals B times M. M is a constant number, and C equals DM. E equals FM. Exercise number 1. Find the third portion. Third proportion. We have the first, second, and fourth. The first step, let the missed proportion be x. The missed be x. See the missed, the first, the second, the third. Let the missed proportion be x. Here, I want to find the third. So let the third proportion be x. And we also said if A, B, C, D are in proportion, that means A over B equals C over D. Exactly. We use this rule here. Then 8 over 9, 8 over 9 equals x over 27. Because here we have the first 8, the second 9, and the third missed. Here we have the third proportion missed. Let it be x, and the fourth 27. Then 8 over 9 equals x over 27. This is an equation. We can find the value of x, 8, yes, times 27 divided by 9. Then x equals 8 times 27 divided 9 equals 24. Example number 2. Find the numbers that, if it's added to 3, 5, 9, and 13, we get proportional numbers. Here we have numbers not in proportion. But if we add number to these numbers, it will be in proportion. Then let the number be x. This is the first step. Let the number be x. Then the first number will be 3 plus x. And second will be 5 plus x. And third, 9 plus x. 13 plus x. Again, here we have 3, 5, 9, 13. If I say 3 over 5, it doesn't equals 9 over 13 because 3, 5, 9, 13 are not in proportion. But if we add to these numbers number, they are in proportion. They are in proportion by adding this number. So the first step, let the number be x. Let the number be x. Then the numbers will be 3 plus x, 5 plus x, and 9 plus x, 13 plus x. In this case, they are in proportion. Then use the rule, the first divided by 2 equals the third divided by 4th. Then 3 plus x divided 5 plus x equals 9 plus x divided 13 by x. By using the property number 2 of proportion, we said the product of means equals the product of extremes. So product of means equals the product of extremes. 3 plus x times 13 plus x, it will be equal to 5 plus x times 9 plus x. Put each number in two brackets. Here we have binomial. Binomial multiply by my binomial. It will be first times the first, second times second, extremes and means. And also we can say 3 times 13 plus 3 times x plus x times 13 plus x times x, as you like. It will be here 3 times 13, 39. X times x equals x power 2. Extremes here, 3 times x equals 3x, and 13 times x equals 13x. 3 plus 13 equals 16x. Grade 7. Also here, 5 times 9 equals 45. X times x equals x power 2. Extremes 5x means 9x plus equals 14x. Left hand side equals right hand side. Then we can cancel x power 2 and x power 2 and put x in one side and the numbers in the other side. Then cancel x power 2, x power 2. 16x transform 14 with negative sign minus 14x equals, here we have 45, put 45 minus transform 39, 45 minus 39, then 2x equals 6, 2x equals 6, 2 here coefficient of x, divided by 2, then x equals 3. X equals 3, check your answer, take the numbers, numbers 5, 8, add 3, and check the rule. If the numbers in proportion, then your result is correct. Another idea, if 2x plus 5 to 3x minus 3 equals 5 to 4. We studied before, we can write the ratio as bar fraction or 2. This sign means 2. Also, we can write it as bar of fraction. Then we can write it 2x plus 5 over 3x minus 3 equals 5 divided by 4. It's so easy. We use the same idea here in the previous example. By, yes, product of means equals the product of extremes. Don't forget that. Product of means equals product of extremes. Then 2x plus 5 multiplied by 4 equals 5 multiplied by 3x minus 3. Cross multiplication. We studied before cross multiplication. Then 4, don't forget, open bracket. Open bracket. 4 must multiply by 2x and 5. Don't say 4 times 2x equals 8x plus 5. This is wrong. 4 multiply 4 by 2x and multiply 4 by 5. Then write 4, open two brackets, 2x plus 5 equals 5 multiply it by 3x minus 3. Here we have 4 times 2x equals 8x. 4 times 5 equals 20 equals 5 times 3 equals 15x. 5 times 3 equals 15. We said, put x inside and the numbers in the other side. Here we have 15 and here we have 8. We can transform 8 to 15. It will be 7. 7x equals, transform 15 in the other side, 15 plus 20. Don't forget, when we transform any term, we change its sign. 15, here negative 15. Transform, yes, positive 15. Then 7x equals 35. 7x equals 35. Here 7 is coefficient. To cancel this coefficient, divided by 7. Divided by 7, the two sides. Then x equals 5. Any problem? Then the number will be 5. Example number 4. If a plus b over c plus d equals a minus b divided c minus d, then prove that a, b, c, d are proportional. So easy. A plus b divided c plus d equals a minus b over c minus d. Ratio equals ratio. Prove that a, b, c, and d are proportional. We said, what is the meaning of a, b, c, and d are in proportion? We said it means a over b, the first divided the second, a over b must be equal c over d. A over b must be equal c over sorry, a over b equals c over d. Okay, so we must prove that a over b equals c over d. What is the given here? Here we have ratio equals ratio. Ratio equals ratio. The first step, cross multiplication. Why I miss cross multiplication? Because we said from the properties of the proportion, the product of means equals the product of extremes. Then write two ratios, cross multiplication. Don't forget to write the brackets. A plus B into brackets times C minus D equals A minus B times C plus D. Binomial times binomial, as we studied in grade 7, as we said. Also, we can use A times C, A times negative D, plus B times C minus B times or plus B times negative C, as you like. Also, we can say first times the first, second times the first, means and extremes. Then here we have A times C, AC. A times negative D, negative AD. B times C, BC. B times negative D, negative BC. When we multiply, the first step multiply the sign. Number two, multiply the coefficient. Number three, multiply the letter. Here we have positive times positive. It will be positive. 1 times 1, coefficient here 1 and here 1, 1. A times C, letter times letter, AC. B, A, negative D, positive, negative, it will be negative. 1 times 1 equals 1. A times D equals AD. BC, negative BD. The same in the right hand side, it will be A times C, AC. A times D, AD. Negative B times C, yes, negative BC. Negative times positive, it will be negative. B times D, it will be BD. If we had the same terms in the two terms, left hand side and right hand side, cancel it. We have AC and AC, cancel it. Also, we have negative BD, negative BD, cancel it. And write the rest, write the remainder. Then we have negative AD plus BC equals AD plus minus BC. AD, BC. We can write the same terms in one side. Then we have BC, transform negative BC in the other side with positive BC equals AD plus AD. BC, like terms, then we can add them. 2BC equals 2AD. Cancel 2, cancel 2. Cancel, it means divided the two terms by 2. Cancel 2 with 2. Then we reach BC equals AD. BC equals AD. From property number two of proportion, we can say A over B. Started with the right hand side and go to the left. Huh? Take the second letter in the left side. Equals C over D. Yes, equals C over D. We start by A in the right. A over B. A over B. Take C. C over D equals C over D, and this is the condition of proportion. We reach to A over B equals C over D, and this is the condition of proportion. It means A, B, C, and D are in proportion. Then, to say that the four quantities are in proportion proves that A over B equals C over D. How can we prove that A over B equals C over D? By using product of means equals product of extremes. It's so easy. Binomial times binomial, and then cancel the like terms from right hand side and left hand side, and put the like terms in the same side. Then we find A over B equals C over D. Then A and B and C, A, B, C, and D are in proportion or are proportion. Example 5. If 3x plus xy over 2y plus 3xy equals 1 over 3. It's so easy. Ratio equals ratio. Ratio equals ratio. And also I said if I have ratio equals ratio, the first step, the first step, yes, super
Cross
excellent.
multiply.
The first step, cross multiplication. Cross multiplication, the first step. Then find the value of blah, 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 blah. The first step, cross multiplication. Then here we have 3. I will multiply 3 by 3x only? No, 3x
3
plus xy.
plus x.
Super excellent. Then 3 times, open bracket, don't forget, open bracket, 3x plus xy equals 1 multiplied by 2x plus 3xy. It will be the same. Any number times 1 equals the same number. Here we have 3 times 3x equals 9x plus 3 times xy equals 3xy equals 2y plus 3xy equals 2y plus 3xy. xy, xy, x and y. xy, xy. So we can cancel a, cancel 3xy with 3xy. Like terms. Then we reach as 9x equals 2y. 9x equals 2y. 9x equals 2y. We can use the property number 2. How, you miss? How can I use it? We can say that x over y equals 2 over 9. Super
2 over
excellent. We can say y over x, if I start by the right hand side, y over x, take the
9 of
coefficient of x equals 9 over 2. Bravo. Then we can say x over y equals 2 over 9, or y over x equals 9 over 2, as you like. Then x over y equals 2 over 9. Ratio, ratio equals constant number. Here we can say x equals 2, y equals 9. No, ya miss, no, because the ratio, maybe we use simplify of this ratio by dividing up and down by number, by any number. Then here we can say that x equals 2m. M, yes, m constant. You can say 2n, 2l, 2k, as you like. But we can say, don't forget, this is very important. We can say x equals 2 and y equals 9. This is wrong. Then here x equals 2m and y equals 9m. M is a constant. Use x equals 2m and y equals 9m in the value. He asked me for find 3x plus 2y over 2y minus x. Then 3x equals 3 times 2m. Cancel x, substitute. Cancel x and put 2m. Cancel y and put 9m.
9.
Yes, then 3 times 2m plus 2 times 9m over 2. Cancel y, put 9m minus x, 2m. Then up and down, in this case, we have only one value, m. Then we can find the value. 3 times 2 equals 6m, 2 times 9 equals 18m, divided 2 times 9, 18 minus 2m minus 2m. The numerator here will be 6 plus 18 equals 24, and 18 minus 2, because they are like terms, equals 16m. M up, m down, cancel. Cancel m with m. 24 divided 16, simplify, or by using your calculator, then the result equals 3 over 9. Okay? Okay. We stop our session at example 5. Plus, لا, the next session, sorry, the next session, inshallah, will complete starting by example 6. Thank you. مم. اه طب تعالى نشوف اللي راح فين، اللي انا نسيت كنا بنعمله ازاي. نسيت والله.
خلصت. لما تقفلي كله.
ما عملتش اللي هي ايه، اللي هي ايه، مش
مش
هنعمل
مشكلة
ايه
نعمل
زي
ايه
كده.
دلوقتي. فين الزوم؟ مش هتفتكر والله ولا حاجة. هي موجودة أصلا. موجودة. بس على السكرين بس.
اه
عم أحمد يحيى.